Hi, welcome to You Can Talk. I'm Ruth Finney, and this is a channel solely dedicated to helping you talk your way to healthier relationships. Whether you're married or dating, or if you're struggling to communicate with family or friends or people you work with, then this is the channel that will help you experience some real change. If you're willing to put some simple principles into practice, meet me here on Thursdays. Become a part of the Talk community by subscribing to You Can Talk and walk with me through the user's manual as we discover some revelations in communication that you can incorporate into your life so that you can talk your way to healthier relationships. In the last episode, we talked about how to increase the power of your words in order to build trust and create more meaningful relationships. If you missed it, I'll put a link below for you to go back and see what our user's manual had to say about that. So in the last episode, I said we would be talking about how to create a safe space to communicate in our relationships. But I've decided to take a little detour and talk about some of the more pressing issues we're all facing right now when it comes to how everyone is getting along with those they're currently quarantined with. Because let's be honest, though none of us want to be infected or see anyone we know get infected, under these particular living restrictions, this is a struggle. And it seems to be no chance of things getting back to the way they were for quite a while, and really maybe if ever. So as we're facing this new normal and coping our way through a life under quarantine, over the next few weeks, I'm going to talk about some of the communication stresses we're facing so that we can talk our way to healthier relationships and prayerfully come out of all this stronger and closer than ever. The topic I want to deal with today is family. Now, most of us love our families and don't want to see any of them get sick and die behind something that we might have been able to help prevent. So we've allowed our family members to move into the house with us for numerous reasons. Many of them are kids who had just come back home from college or had just moved out on their own, and now they're no longer working. But others have moved in because they've taken some financial blows that they may not be able to recover from, or are a high health risk and need to have additional assistance. So we've allowed them to move in with us. Then there are those of us that are just dealing with spouses or family members who used to go off to work and are now working from home or just home and not working at all. And let's not forget those who may have just brought home a brand new tiny addition on top of dealing with these trying times. No matter the situation, this stay safe, stay home is a greater challenge than most of us could have ever imagined. And the worst part of it is that we don't know when it will ever end. So now that we ourselves and maybe a few additional others are now all living in the same space, the tension, the irritation, the mood swings, coping practices, erratic decisions, and conversations throughout the house are driving many of us to thoughts we never imagined we could have towards those we love. Now, if everything in your house is zen, then this may not be the episode for you. But if, like me, you're dealing with some things, then keep watching and don't forget to click that like and subscribe button so that we can continue to keep each other encouraged as we get through this. So the first thing I'll address is the kids who are now back home. Then we'll talk to those grown folk. Now, whether you have kids that are home from daycare, elementary school, middle school, high school, college, or home from a recent launch out into the world, and now they're back in our house, eating our food, demanding our attention, sitting in our favorite chair, leaving messes all over the place, and wanting to be entertained. Now, I don't know about you, but this is the closest thing to a zombie invasion I ever want to get. Now, I'm a believer and I read the user's manual and I follow the directions found in Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they are old, they will not depart from it. But these children that are now back in my house are not who I trained. They are doing things and saying things and allowing words to come out of their mouths that I didn't even know they knew. So how do we deal with this? The first things we need to talk about and get established are boundaries, rules, and respect. Look, everyone, we're going to be in this for the long haul. So there's no need in us pretending like we're okay with things that we're not okay with. If we're feeling an invasion of privacy, overburdened with chores, or disrespected in conversations by those that we've raised or helped to raise, then we need to speak up. So we need to call a family meeting within the house and say things like, now I know our lives as they once were are now changed for all of us, and we are in a situation that we have no control over. Though this is not what any of us would want, we all have to be here, and the better we can get along, the easier it will be to get through. That means that we're going to have to get some things established in this house, and whatever those things are that you desire, make it known. Maybe you need to set some scheduled time for activities, indoor and outdoor activities, time for work, homework, or chores, TV time, or just quiet time for reading or napping. Whatever it is, put a schedule together that you all can agree upon and stick to it. If you're struggling with food, privacy, or mouth issues, we can say things like this. We're all home and we may be bored or anxious or irritable. And for many of us, food is a quick fix to making us feel better. But in this house, we all have to eat and make these groceries last for whatever extended period of time. And that means we can't just go in the refrigerator and get what we want without the consideration of others. So if you want something outside of our normal meal times, just ask if it's okay. Don't just take it. We want you to feel like this is your home too while you're here. But in this house, we show respect to others in the way that we treat our things, honor our space, and speak to one another. And for us, that means picking up behind ourselves, not causing damage to our things, and not speaking to others in a disrespectful manner, or saying things like this or this or this, and say whatever those things are. Now, these are just a few approaches that we can state to start the necessary conversations that will put us back on the right track. However, these are kids, teenagers, or young adults, so expect to be tried. Repeat these established rules. Don't compromise or give in to their tantrums or outbursts. Stay calm, stay firm, but be consistent and continue to show love. Now let's move on to those grown folk. These can be a bit trickier because they may feel a sense of entitlement. Entitled to our patience, entitled to our attention, our kindness, our finances, or our help, and even our understanding, not realizing that we're struggling through this as well. And if we've always been in the position of having to be the one with the level head, or solving the problem, or keeping everyone calm and everything under control, or making sure that the funds were available, bills were paid, and needs were met, under these conditions, that may not be so easy anymore. And this is now a struggle for us too. And now everyone is pulling on us on an even greater level, and we're not able to get replenished in the ways that we used to be able to get refueled. So we're having to find other ways of coping that may not be ideal for everyone, or everyone may not agree with. And all it's doing is causing fighting and bickering, and impulse decisions are being made. And things are now coming out of our mouths in conversations that we never imagined we'd be saying. And some of us are even contemplating doing things that we said we'd never do. If this is you, you are not alone. The whole world is going through this. It's just that social distancing is preventing us from being able to talk about it. And because the focus now is on those fighting to stay alive and those first responders helping those who are fighting for their lives, people are afraid to mention the battles going on within their own families and feeling like we're behind enemy lines within our own homes. So how do we deal with this? Well, first we want to remind the adults we're living with that we're all struggling through this, and that this is no easier for me than it is for you. The individual struggles we're facing may differ, but the mental, physical, or emotional anguish we're dealing with is the same. We all want to survive this, and we all want this to be over as quickly as possible. And we're not going to come out of this in a healthy state if we don't learn to get along and find ways to work together through this. Next, state some of the things that you're struggling with. I'm struggling with your expectations of me, your dependency on me, your unkind words towards me, your lack of respect for me when it comes to this or this. It's making me feel a certain kind of way. And in response, I'm lashing out, or I've been doing this, or I'm feeling like doing this. These are not the things I want to be doing or how I want to be feeling, and I need you to stop doing this, or I need you to do more of this so I don't feel like I'm in this by myself. Can you commit to working through these things with me? Again, this will start the necessary conversations to get us moving in the right direction, but don't expect it to be a one-time conversation and all is well. We will very likely have to remind the person when they're speaking or acting or responding in the way that's not keeping us in a healthy mental space. And when we can, tell them how they could have expressed it to us in a way that we could have received it better. Because most of the time we expect others to know how to talk to us because we're in relationship. But the reality is we have to help others be in relationship with us by saying things like, I don't respond to that. I can't hear you when you speak to me in that tone or use those words. Or when you do this, my respect goes out the window and I've checked out and everything you say is falling on deaf ears. So asking others to say or do or respond to us in a particular manner helps to remove boundaries and opens up lines of communication in a way that we can receive it. And in response, we honor, speak to, and show respect to them in a way that they can receive it. This quarantine is no easy matter for any of us, so that's why I wanted to talk about it, so that we don't forget that our highest priority and our first ministry starts in the home. And the better we're able to keep our home life stable and at peace, the better position we're in to go out into the world and be of service to others, and not go out into the world facing this coronavirus crisis while coming home to the devastational losses within our own families. In our user's manual, it says in Romans 12:18, if possible, so far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all. If you can relate to any of these communication struggles and are tired of the seemingly endless cycle of communication barriers that are keeping you from the relationships that you desire to have with others, then become a talker. Subscribe to You Can Talk. Select that notification bell down below and meet me here on Thursdays for the next episode where I'll be discussing more ways we can talk our way through this quarantine. Leave a comment below and let me know what will be your tip of the week or talk-inspired practice that you're willing to commit to working on. Whatever it is, I'm rooting for you and praying for you because you can tame the tongue, approach with compassion, listen deeply, knock down the barriers, and talk your way to healthier relationships. Let your communication be the light of God's love the world so desperately needs to hear. Thanks for watching, and if you would, please like and share this video, and I'll see you here next Thursday.